I thought I'd do a quick review of the Hasbro slash Super 7 7-inch metallic Mighty Morphin Power Ranger figures that they released back in November of 2024. I know it's already July, but I didn't get a chance to open these up and take a look and play with them and try to pose them when they first arrived. I only recently opened them up about a month ago. I really liked the packaging. It was really sleek. It was a triangle. They resembled a lot the old school Bandai Power Rangers that they released so many years ago. But when I finally did open it up, I noticed an uncanny resemblance to the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers that Super 7 released in their Ultimates line. I should have connected the two together, and when I first saw the figures on the Hasbro website, it's like, wow, this is gonna be really cool. The metallic Rangers, that'll be really neat. The metallic doesn't come off as metallic as I'd like the ones that they had in the shows, like shiny spandex. These are more like shiny. But what I do want to point out is that the Red Ranger from the Super 7 Ultimates looks almost identical to the Green Ranger. Let me bring the Red Ranger to focus so you guys can look at what I'm trying to say about the comparisons between them. So, obviously, they're both Super 7, but one is Ultimates and the other one is just a regular line that they decided to show off at the end of the Lightning Collection era. And so they come with a lot less accessories. They come with the old school weapons. So as you can see, Tommy's Dragon Dagger isn't painted. It's just the way that it looked in the original toy, just one color, silver. And then the Super 7 Ultimates Red Ranger actually has a really nice painted sword with lots of detail. He's got his blade blaster, and then he's got the Dragon Dagger, which is also painted really nicely, in the holster that's black, whereas Tommy has his white holster. And you know what the funny thing is? Even though this is the same exact mold as the Super 7 Ultimates, this one has the wrong pattern on both the boots and the arms. I don't know if that was done because the original toy might have had that same error, but yeah, so Tommy's not supposed to have the diamonds that the rest of the Rangers have. And then another difference between the Ultimates and this other retro line of metallic Rangers is the Dragon Shield is exactly the same. You can just paint an outline of the black inside. It actually might even like a little more detail than the Super 7 Ultimates, just because maybe they didn't have to cut costs by painting it or anything, or they already had the mold and then they just had a bunch of them that were unpainted and they're like, hey, let's ship it off with our Green Ranger. But regardless, I think the Green Ranger's designs, the emblems inside of the shield, look a little better than the ones that are painted on for the Ultimates edition. Also, the Ultimates has a really nice detailed painted morpher, as you can see, but the Green Ranger, on the other hand, has just like a red power coin with no real outline of the morpher. It's a really bad outline, and on top of that, it's the same color as the belt, which is silver. It's not even white. And then the Ultimate version has the power coin. It says Power Ranger on it, and then there's the actual morpher itself with the buckle, and then even a nice little stripe around the belt. But besides that, these figures, are pretty much the same mold as the Super 7 Ultimate editions. Even the helmet, actually, it looks exactly identical to the one that we got in the Ultimate edition. So the retro metallic figures, because they come at a $35 price point, whereas the Super 7 Ultimate figures came at the $55 price point, you get a lot less accessories with it, so a lot less hands, a lot less detail on the actual figures, and a smaller box than the Super 7 Ultimates. But I think it looks nice. I think that the White Ranger has more posability than the Green Ranger just because of where the joints are. So the White Ranger gets his armbands, and then they decided to make that where he can have some joint movement. And then for the Green Ranger, they didn't give him his armbands, and they didn't give him his like gold bands on his boots, but they did for the White Ranger for some reason. So as you can see, the White Ranger has both the bands on the arms, the legs, and he's got a nicer shield. The shield looks so much nicer in the Super 7 version of the White Ranger than it does on the Super 7 Green Ranger or even the Red Ranger. The Red Ranger looks nice, but compared to the Lightning Collection, I much prefer the Lightning Collection. It looks a lot better. But the White Ranger one, the White Ranger shield looks way better than the Green Ranger's Dragon Shield or even the Red Ranger's Dragon Shield. I think it's just the design, and because of the type of materials that they use, it just ends up looking better. Whereas the Green Ranger and the Red Ranger's shields kind of pivot down. The White Ranger's is nice and straight on both sides. It's even all across, so it looks even cooler. But you are able to pose him better because of where the joint movement is on his arms. And then the Red Ranger actually has the bands, which is funny because I think you can get different arms that you can switch out for when you have the Dragon Shield on the Red Ranger and when you don't. Whereas because the Green Ranger came at the $35 price point with less accessories, you either, well, yeah, it's it. You the arm does come off if you try to pose it too much, and then you can pop it back in. It's no big deal, but it's not great for movement, not great for posability. So by far, the White Ranger looks so much better than the Green Ranger. As you can see, like the best I could do with the Green Ranger is like stand them up. I'm sure you can do more, but you're gonna chip the paint, and I don't really want to chip the paint. Whereas the White Ranger had so much more flexibility. It was easier just to move. But yeah, you got the Saba. That's also just all silverish. And then yeah, so tell me what you think. Did you pick up the retro metallic Rangers? Also, here you can see that because the White Ranger is not an MMPR Ranger, well, in the Sentai, and he's a Die Ranger, he doesn't have a morpher on his belt, so you don't miss any details on his morpher. It just looks good regardless. And the shield, amazing. The helmet, perfect. But anyways, did you pick it up? Did you like it? Did you not like it? For $35, I wouldn't. I'm not complaining. I like them anyways. I was gonna pick them up regardless. But for $35, if I had the choice between only getting either the Super 7 Ultimates or the Retro Metallic, I would have been fine with the Retro Metallic. I think they're cool. And if I had a choice between the White and the Green Ranger, I would have only picked the White Ranger, not the Green Ranger. But let me know, which one do you like more? The White Ranger, the Green Ranger, Super 7 Ultimates, or the Retro Metallic? Thanks for watching.